So I want to tell you why I've decided to stop touching myself during the day, how it affects me, and how it may be affecting you. So I moved to Montenegro 3 months ago on my own, and I have issues to work through. I'm in a long distance relationship, which I struggle with because I have come from a past of being hurt. And I spend a lot of time on my own, and I have a business to maintain online. I have health, I have goals I'm working on. I'm trying to look after my body and mind simultaneously. I'm trying to maintain relationships, work on my finances. So I need focus and I need energy. Anyway, masturbation is something I have always struggled with, as have most men in today's world. The big companies are good at playing on men's weaknesses and men give in. So, I've definitely used it as a bit of an emotional crutch over the years. For example, when I've been stressed out, a solution has been to touch myself. You get such a rush, you get so much dopamine, you feel so relaxed, you feel so good. It helps you get to sleep. So it's nice to do it on the night. And it's very, very much a release of stress and tension for a lot of people. We're in a very stressed out world. Things get to us. It's hard to deal with our emotions. It's much easier to just touch ourselves. Whether that be through porn, or whether that be through social media, or whether that simply be through our own imagination. I haven't watched porn in 9 months, and I certainly haven't done anything like that on social media in a long time. But I'm still guilty of committing the act, only to my imagination and memory. But what I have noticed over the last couple of weeks is that the urge arises when I'm stressed, or when I'm in discomfort, or when I don't want to face my emotions. And this is why we turn to drugs or alcohol or gambling in those moments where we have to face ourselves and we feel uncomfortable and we don't want to sit with it and we don't want to admit to ourselves what's wrong and what we possibly have to work on. And I noticed that I've cut out all of these vices, drugs, alcohol, gambling. I don't really watch Netflix. I don't really watch anything that entertains me. I just work and I work on my health. So I noticed this urge coming up when I feel stressed out or I'm overwhelmed, and I just noticed the urge to touch myself, to relax. But then what I've also noticed in that pattern in my life is that I haven't been getting a lot done. I've been feeling much more anxious. I've been feeling much more stressed, overwhelmed, unable to deal with my own feelings. So I decided to simply stop touching myself in the day. And I would still allow myself to do it once in a night before I went to bed. And since I started doing that over a week ago, I am much more productive. I have much more energy. I'm actually starting to deal with my emotions more. And I've worked on my emotions for years, but at this point of being isolated in a different country to everybody that I've ever known, I have to work on my emotions a lot more. And I just realized that touching ourselves is such a killer of motivation. It reduces our dopamine. I don't think it affects your ability to build muscle like some people say it does. But it definitely kills our focus, our productivity, our creativity, our presence, our ability to deal with emotions. And we want to become stronger people. For ourselves, for our partners, for our friends, for our lives, for our businesses, for our ventures, for our passions. We want to become stronger people. And motivation comes from action. And do you think you're going to feel more motivated to work if you resist the urge and you just work? Or do you think you're going to feel more motivated laying on your bed, touching yourself, giving into that instant pleasure. It's just quick, cheap dopamine. And as I said, it's something we struggle with. And my view on the whole thing in general is that I don't think it's unhealthy in general. I think the amount that we do it as men, and I think the ways that we do it, whether it be porn or social media, I think that is unhealthy. The frequency and the outlets, I think if you reduce the frequency and you do it to memory or the thought of your partner, then I think it's much healthier. But that's something I'm going through right now, and I've overcome drug addictions, I've overcome gambling addictions, I've overcome smoking, alcohol, but it's one thing at a time. And I'm not going to sit here and say I'm perfect, and I'm not telling you that everything in my life is fine, because it's not. And even if someone seems like they're doing great on the outside, they're probably all still working on things. And I'm honestly sick of seeing this culture of people trying to sell their programs online and say that if you follow this course that everything will be fine. It's the only thing you need to do. But the thing is, these people, these personal brands, they're not telling you the realities of the things that you do struggle with. They're not telling you that every day is not going to be 100%, They're just promoting this fake lifestyle, and you can work on lots of things, but there's always going to be something else, because you're never going to be perfect. And if you're somebody that wants to improve as a person and work on self-development like I am, then you're always going to have something. You're always going to want to improve something, And we're humans. We chase dopamine. We chase pleasure. So there's always something. You get rid of one thing, another thing comes. I get rid of smoking. Nicotine pouches come. You get rid of porn. The urge to touch yourself still comes. So that's the experience right now. And just be aware, guys, that touching yourself will kill your productivity, your creativity, your presence, and getting to know yourself.